Okay. Okay, let's do this. Hey there, this is Steph and you're watching my channel. Thanks for tuning in. Today I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about gender identity, especially because we're celebrating Pride at the moment in Toronto. So I just wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about gender. Specifically, I wanted to talk about the ways that people choose to identify themselves. So using preferred pronouns or personal pronouns. Because gender is this really important part of our own identities, whether we see it as such or not. Those of us who are cis and heterosexual, who have the privilege of being prioritized and constantly being respected for being cis and don't have to defend that privilege so often, right? And so a lot of times we take it for granted. But a lot of folks who are gender non-conforming, especially folks who are gender non-conforming and also people of color, experience a disproportionate levels, increasingly disproportionate levels of violence. And even now there's lots of controversy and lots of debates and policies and action that's being focused on policing gender and policing sexual orientation. And so I think one of the ways that we can push back is at least talking about something like pronouns, personal pronouns. There's a huge list and I will put it to the side, I think, or in the next frame. This list is not exhaustive by any means, but I think it's pretty handy. Current dominant mainstream idea of gender is that you're a male or you're female, and that's it. There's two and you choose one. It's a fairly new concept actually, and it's also a concept that is rooted in colonialism, and it's also aimed at folks, at people of color. If we look at history and if we look at different cultures, this idea of gender fluidity exists in many different spaces. I think this was really depicted really beautifully. I saw it on Instagram and I'm going to insert the picture here. And so I think the notion of the gender binary and how that's kind of embedded in our learning, at least the way that I was brought up thinking about the gender binary, is I never really thought about the fact that it's very new and that it's not true across the board. We're brought up to think that, oh, it's only normal that, you know, you're either male or you're female, you gotta choose one. You can't be this like in between, like you're fooling yourself, or all these other really disrespectful and very violent statements aimed at like people of color, right? Part of the reason that gender binary was instated and taught to so many young people, or taught to so many people, was to other and to discriminate folks who come from cultures that highly respect gender fluidity and to kind of make them feel like it's weird. And it's another way to push away and to justify kind of the ill treatment of other cultures, for people from other cultures, and kind of justify the ways that we police and we try to like educate and like tame other cultures, because we think that their way of understanding, for instance in this case gender, is misguided and is incorrect, when in fact it's beautiful. So I think in light of the fact that, you know, we're all trying to celebrate and commemorate and have really, really happy fun times with Pride coming up, I think also taking some time to kind of think about how do we respect and how do we talk about gender in our everyday lives. Also invite folks to do your research and ask questions and go out and see what things you can get involved with, or just like enjoy the sun because it's beautiful, and Canada, rarely do we get beautiful weather, so have a really good one and I hope I'll see you soon. Bye! Howdy! No, oh my gosh.